Hey everyone, welcome to the Errant Venture. Wow, it's been a long time. I'm
It's
Steve,
been a very long time. I'm Adam.
and our retrofit is done. It's probably been about 2 years in getting this bird back to be flying, and
Yeah,
pretty excited about it.
I've been excited about it for a while. I really have.
No, this is
It's been a long time. There's been a lot of craziness going on.
like, even just in the Star Wars world. There's so much going on. It is truly a good time to be a Star Wars fan because there's just so much content coming out, and it's not even like it's one dimensional content. In a lot of cases, there's stuff for the people who don't want all the stories to be about the Jedi. There's stuff for the people who do want to see more Jedi stories.
Hmm.
If you're a fan of the Clone Wars, if you want to see what's happening after the rebellion, if you want to see what things were like in the past, there's just so much content coming out that it's a great time to be alive.
There's a plethora of content coming out.
Ooh, Scrabble word.
Yeah. There's so much. I mean, we're talking like games. You want to talk about games? Especially if you are a gamer, you got Star Wars Outlaws coming out, Star Wars Hunters coming out, Knights of the Old Republic, Jedi 3, Dark Forces, Eclipse. There's a bunch. I have no idea about any of those because I'm not really a gamer,
So
but
So I do
there's a lot.
believe there is it's either a delay, a pause, or they might not be doing the remake of Knights of the Old Republic anymore. There was a
Okay.
something that came out. I want to say it was a couple weeks ago, and that was really shocked because that's a game that already has a following. All of us nerds who were around back in the day, remember growing up playing games like that, and when that was
Yeah.
the end thing, and the stories were good. And for me, like once again, I'm also not the biggest gamer. My gaming experience for these is mostly watching someone else's video that they posted with all the cinematic parts, and
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I want to know the story.
Hmm.
Like I still have to watch a Jedi Survivor. Um,
I've done that not for Star Wars, but I've actually done that for Transformers.
I've
For a couple of Transformers games that are out, I've watched the videos that people made
it,
of just the story.
it's great. Like I said, my thing is I have such a short attention span that by the time I I'll get into it, I'll be like, all right. But games with dialogue, I just don't like them now, like I did when I was a kid.
Hmm.
I'm an action person. I want to see things happening, and I love the cinematic parts. But I just don't play games enough to remember what happened the last time I was playing it.
Yeah, yeah, I don't either. And I mean, as I've gotten older, um, I've gotten more sensitive to motion sickness.
Yes.
So there are some games where like that I played on my PS4 that I can't play right now because it's like I'm playing it and all of a sudden I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go throw up now. You know, it sucks getting old
Uh,
sometimes.
I
But
get it.
I mean, there's just taking away from video games. There's a lot of content with the video games. We also got a lot of TV shows coming out too.
We do. No, just looking at the list I have on the side of my screen, and this is more of the stuff that's supposed to be coming out, I guess, in the more not too distant future. So we'll say
Yep.
24, 25. I got the Acolyte, Skeleton
Hmm.
Crew. I'm super looking forward to Bad Batch season 3, starting
I
next.
am final season.
3 episode debut. I know it's gonna take me probably 3 days to watch it, but I'm
Yeah.
looking forward. Tales of the Jedi.
Mm.
There's just a lot of stuff coming out. We have the new, even books, but I feel like books and comic books. I just discount them, and it's not that they're not canon. It's not that they're not great. There's just and we've talked about this in past
We
episodes.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So
we've
much.
talked about this about the fact that there's so much content out there and it's all canon and it's too much to try to keep track of everything.
Exactly, and I do plan on reading the Glass Abyss, the new Mace Windu book that comes out, I believe, in the summer. Uh,
Okay.
and I'm curious to see if it's like Shatterpoint, which is no longer canon. But
Mm.
I'm excited. I still think we need to get some sort of closure. Is he alive? Is he dead? And
Yeah.
I do expect to hear about that in the next year or two. That
Yep.
either he's dead or he's alive. It's one of those things that eventually they are going to have to address, and they should probably make that happen before Samuel L. Jackson dies.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But let me ask you this: what? And I'm just going to take the Bad Batch because that's coming up soon. Um, what are you expecting from it? What do you expect to see or happen in the Bad Batch?
So I did see the trailer. Have you seen the trailer yet?
Yes, I did. I
So
have.
some
Which and I
surprise.
and actually it actually brought up a question for me because I thought Asajj Ventress was dead. But
She, that
anyways,
and that's the retcon. That's the that's one of two big questions that I have going into it.
yeah,
You have Asajj Ventress who died in Dark Disciple, which was a fantastic book. It's a canon book, and I'm really hoping that they're not going to start going back and making things that were canon suddenly legends just because they want to
mm,
retcon something. Is it possible that there's some sort of clone, or maybe she had a twin sister and it's not really
yeah.
her? Like we hear a voice.
Well, I think they. I don't know if they. I don't know if I don't remember if they mentioned her by name in the trailer, but I have seen where it is supposed to be her.
Okay, hey, I liked her as a character. I thought she had a
Yeah.
fantastic story arc. I think
Hmm.
Dark Disciple really took that arc and just showed so much more of her. And if it's her, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
I do not mind her being brought back, but they have to find after having Dark Disciple, they have to have a way to make it make sense. The
Yeah.
the other question or the other thing I'm expecting, in my opinion, Tech is not dead. I think Tech it's the same thing with Star Wars. No body, no death, and
Okay.
all we got in season 2 was a broken pair of glasses.
Yes.
So my expectation, he is brainwashed. He's going to be coming back. He's going to be against the Bad Batch, and something's going to happen. And I think Crosshair is going to be the one that kind of wins him back to the good side, back to the Bad Batch. But
Okay.
just because he's going to say like, hey, I've been going through this. I've been in the Empire too, not liking it, don't like what it stands for, and he's going to be the one who tries to break Tech and get him to come back to the Bad Batch.
Okay.
And I'm curious to see how it ends.
Yeah.
Part of me expects a similar ending to that of the Mandalorian season 3.
Okay.
You're just going to see them on a planet somewhere, kicking back and relaxing.
Okay. Okay.
But what about you? What big things are you expecting from it?
One number one big thing that I'm expecting is I want to see another connection to Heir to the Empire
Okay.
because they're on Mount Tantus, and I wanna go back to that. I want to see it. I want to see that connection. I want those little Easter eggs there for that.
S-
Um, yeah, that's the big thing I'm expecting.
So there are rumors, and it does, I guess, seem a little fitting that Filoni and them are trying to make a in canon version of Heir to the Empire, and that's going to be the Throne movie. That's where
Oh,
Ahsoka and
they're not trying. They are. It's actually one of the movies that's going to be coming.
I think
Is
that's the perfect place to bring Mace Windu back as Druid Sabath. Instead of a crazy clone, you have a senile old fallen Jedi Master.
okay. That'd be
I
really old.
well, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, no, yeah, because they're still going to have the Heir to the Empire take place after Return of the Jedi. So, I mean, yeah, he's going to be really ancient.
For all we know, he's in stasis. He's in, like, he's in. There's plenty of ways that the Force can
Could be
help.
one. Could be one of the ones that were frozen
Are you talking?
because in
Are you talk?
like
Are you talking about in Obi-Wan?
yeah, that's exactly you know where I was going with that.
So
Something like that.
my understanding is they're all dead.
That was my understanding as well. But you never know because it's they never really came out and said, "Oh yeah, these guys are dead." They just said, "Oh look, there's frozen people."
Fair enough.
So, I mean, that is one way of doing it. But yeah, I am. I really want that connection. I really want that connection. And then we got Andor season 2 coming up
What are your thoughts on Andor?
eventually. He was a character that when I saw him on Rogue One, I could not care about. I didn't care about. And then I watched the show. It was slow going, but it kept my attention.
Okay.
It kept my attention because I'm going, when is it going to start? When is it going to start? Did it start yet? Did it? Did it? So it did keep my attention with that. Um, I'm hoping that with season 2, it'll be more of a fast paced season.
So I remember when it was first announced, it was supposed to be 5 seasons, and I don't think they have enough content to make it 5 seasons. But also, this is a prequel. This came out.
Mm-hmm.
The setting of this is before Rogue One, which came out in what,
Yep.
97? I'm sorry, not 2017. Wow, like
Uh,
16, 17. So you gotta think,
yeah.
by the time they would get to, at this point, even season 3, it's in real life 10 years later. The character
Yes.
is aging, and
Yep.
so I did hear, or it was commented on, that they shrunk it down to 3 seasons. I'm curious to see what happens. I think a lot of time was killed. We'll call it killed. And not that it was a bad story, but a lot of time was killed when he was in prison. Like, that was multiple
Yeah.
episodes. And
Yep.
I felt like they stretched that. And that's what kind of made it feel so slow. Is it felt very stretched. I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious to see what happens next, where he goes from there.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, of all the stories out there, this is the one I care the least about, and I think it's just because I'm watching it because it's Star Wars content,
Yep.
not because I'm necessarily digging it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was with me. I was watching it because it was Star Wars, um, but like I said, I didn't care about him in the movie. Oop, I didn't.
Wrong tube.
Sorry, I know that's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
No, I didn't care about him in the movie, and I didn't really care about him in the series, but I was interested in it just because it was Star Wars.
Yeah, and
So I mean, I'm more interested. I'm more interested in Ahsoka
yes,
season 2.
and I've been enjoying that. Obviously, there's things that people are complaining about, and I am kind of getting upset with everyone ending up being force sensitive, and everyone ending up being like a
Yeah.
Jedi and being able to learn all this stuff with either minimal or no training. Like, it takes away everything that we have learned about Star Wars growing up.
Yep.
Like, at first, it was like, oh, only a few people have this. Now everyone has midi chlorians. You just have to have more of them in order to use this. Now, oh, everyone can use something to some sort. Where does it stop? Like, now you're saying that I can go out there and I can learn to use the Force, even though I probably have a midichlorian count of 2.
Funny thing, I was actually having a discussion with somebody about that very same thing because I had I'm right there with you. I always felt that you know being a Jedi means that you have it's not like not everybody can do it. You need to have you want to go with the middle chlorians, you need to have a certain number of midi chlorians in order to be able to be a Jedi, that sort of thing. But I always felt that the idea that Joe Schmo off the street can become a Jedi if he spends hours and hours clearing his mind, focusing, concentrating, and oh look, I'm a Jedi. I can move things now. You know, I that did not like that at all.
Yeah, and that it also takes away from the whole, like, and you see an example of it in Rebels where they're looking for the force sensitive kids.
Hmm.
What's the point of the the Jedi doing it in the past, trying to identify young force sensitives, and what's the point of the Empire doing it, you know, afterwards,
Yeah.
if everyone is suddenly force sensitive?
Yes.
Like it takes away so
Exactly.
much canon, it takes away so much story, and just changes too
It just
much.
makes it too much. It's too much.
Exactly, and I get
Too
it.
much.
You have to try to change some things around to make it make sense when they have Rey rebuilding the Jedi Order, because she's not going to be able to run around all over the world trying to find force sensitives. She's going to be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you're force sensitive," especially since Cal Kestis destroyed the holocron.
Hmm.
So so it's going to be interesting how they make all that happen.
Yeah.
But back to Andor, it's definitely something that I like the fact that it's a show without Jedi because there doesn't
Hmm.
need to be a Jedi in everything.
Yeah.
But
And I think Rogue One, that is one thing I really loved about Rogue One, is that it does prove, hey, we can have a really good Star Wars story without Jedi.
and don't get me wrong, I did enjoy Vader's scene. Uh,
Yeah,
I liked it. I thought it was needed.
that was a good.
The only thing that scene killed for me is because the fight in A New Hope between Vader and Obi Wan was so slow. It's kind of like, oh, this day he's moving fast, destructive, killing everyone, taking out people left and right. And
Hmm.
then the battle against Obi-Wan is in slow motion compared to that.
I actually like. And we might be going off topic with it, but um, there is a fan movie, very short, that reimagines Obi Wan and Vader's fight.
I believe we talked about that a couple episodes ago
Probably
too.
did.
No,
Probably did.
and honestly, that would fit right in following that Vader scene. Like, and that
Yes,
there's so much good fan content. There's so much good fan content out there,
there
and,
is.
I'm waiting for Star Wars Theory to come out with their Vader Episode 2. Like, that guy puts so much money and time and love into it that it's just great.
Yeah,
But so other than the Bad Batch, I think the stories that I'm looking forward to, and I think it's because I just love the animation style of the Clone Wars. It's m- Clone Wars, one of my favorite story or series. Rebels, I
hmm,
think, takes it for me. Rebels season 3 and 4 take it for me. Like, I think that's just some of the best storytelling going on. But
yeah,
I am excited for Tales of the Jedi. I'm excited to
yeah,
learn more about the past. Just This is how we're going to get it, and these are stories that don't need a Disney Plus series. This is Tell us about one moment in time from
hmm,
people growing up and how different things happen. And there's so much content there. And it doesn't have to be about the people we know about. This is something where they
yeah,
can touch more on the old Republic or High Republic, whatever you want to call it these days, and just make stories that are entertaining, but you can watch them in under a half hour and get the whole story start to finish.
yeah, yeah. So,
I just hope they don't keep drilling into the Dooku arc.
oh, yeah, that was a couple episodes. That was
Yeah.
crazy. So, I mean, we have a lot of movies coming out.
Yes, we do.
We did talk about Heir to the Empire. That is like, I think, the biggest one I'm looking forward to, because I was such a fan of Timothy Zahn's books.
Those are
I
great
can't wait to
books.
see what they're doing with it.
They're
So
I think either way, I'm going to enjoy the entire thing. I know I will. I'm
Yeah.
so excited for it. I think the part that I'm the most excited for and curious about is how they fill the plot holes that they've created by what is and is no longer canon.
Uh huh.
And
Yeah.
that's going to be it, because it's not going to, you're going to have your people out there who are going to be like, that's not how it happened. That's not how it happened. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's not how it happened, because, we don't know if Luke's going to be in it. It might be Ahsoka playing the part of Luke.
Right.
There's
Which would be fine because
absolute, as long as
there's
they make it,
other Jedi.
as long as they make it make sense. Like they've already
Yeah.
destroyed the idea of Luke being special. Um,
Yeah.
that's already gone. He's at this point the only special part that he has is he's Anakin's son.
Yeah.
But there's so much more out there, and but maybe that's something that could be fun too. Maybe they can have a Tales of the Jedi where Luke meets Anakin, kind of similar to how Ahsoka did.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
do believe in the comics I've seen where Luke has met and conversed with Anakin's Force Ghost.
Yeah.
So it didn't really amount to much, but maybe we can get some sort of more content, maybe even a Luke versus Anakin style lightsaber battle.
Hmm.
I'd be
Be
interested to
interesting.
see that.
I'm wondering why they're going to make a Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
Oh, I think I know why that is.
I mean, that's the whole TV show.
Well, I don't think I think what's going to happen is and essentially this got announced because there's I guess toys coming out, and the toys always tell the story beforehand,
Hmm.
where they refer to Din Djarin as a former bounty hunter.
Right.
So I'm expecting the story to be something more about him working with the New Republic than him doing the Mandalorian things. I think what
Okay.
we saw at the end of season 3 was his story in the Mandalorian done. And the movie is going to take on more of what happens next. Because honestly, at this point, I don't care about the child or Grogu's story anymore, because the whole story initially was get him back to his people. Now it doesn't matter because
Doesn't matter. They never even done that.
but then adopted him. It's his kid now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it changes the whole dynamic of it. And I I don't think there should be a season 4 of The Mandalorian, because I feel like they're going into the, how do you have a season and a movie coming out at the same time?
Right. Exactly. And like I was saying before, you know, Mandalorian, the series was about Jindarin and Grogu. So they were the main focus of the series. And now you're going to have a movie that's going to focus on them. It's like that doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
But then again, the other thing that doesn't make sense is a droid story.
well, I I think like I said, I think if you take it away from, if you take them out of the Mandalorian, I think you can make it happen with a movie or two. But
And then
to,
just have the Mandalorian TV show be about the Mandalorians.
I think at that point
Or
you need a new show.
hmm,
No, at this point, everyone, even if you don't know Din Djarin by name, you call him the Mandalorian.
right.
So if he's not in it, I think you need a new show. And I agree that I really think Bo Katan needs a show. I think
Yeah,
there's so much story going on
there's
there,
there is a big story with that. There
and
really is.
yeah, you have the whole rebuilding, the retaking of the planet, the rebuilding of a society, and
Hmm.
there's a lot that you can throw into there, and I think you can eke out 2 to 3 seasons of that,
Yeah.
and not to mention, the Empire's not gone just because Moff Gideon and his clones died. There might be more.
No, there's still factions out there.
exactly, because otherwise we
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't be getting Heir of the Empire.
Right. Exactly.
So, like, and by the way, if they do Heir of the Empire and Palion is not in it, I will be pissed.
Oh, I'm.
I
He
don't
better. I'm right there with you.
like. I don't care so
He
much.
better be in it.
I don't care so much about Rook, but like, come on, Palion's got to be in it.
Yeah. No. No. I'm kind of with you on that.
Like, I feel like they kind of.
Paleon's got to be on it.
I feel like they killed Rook in Rebels. Like, they just made him seem so goofy that
Yeah.
it'd be hard to take him seriously. But at the same time, it would be just like them bringing the Grand Inquisitor in for Obi-Wan. So, which brings up another good opportunity. Do you think there should be an Obi-Wan season 2?
No.
Why?
No. Cause I mean, I was skeptical. Skeptical. I was skeptical. Jeez, now I can't talk. Oh
Del-
my god.
Delete that.
I
Delete
was.
that. Delete that.
I
Delete
was
that.
seriously. I was questioning why they would have Obi-Wan be off planet, because the whole point of him being there was to keep an eye on Luke, you know, and it's just A New Hope made it seem as though he was there the whole time, didn't go anywhere. Hey, he's been out of the loop, you know. He sent Leia. Organa sent Leia to go get him, and it's not like, oh yeah, hey, listen, you need to go back to Tatooine, and you remember your buddy Obi-Wan? Yeah, you go get him. No, it was, there was an old wise Jedi. He served me under the Clone Wars. You need to go get him. He's our only hope, you know. But he's traveling the galaxy, and then, going on all these adventures. How come the Empire isn't coming after him again?
It's
You
not.
know,
It's not like at this point they don't know where he is.
right? Exactly. So I mean, it was fine for one season, one adventure. Okay, great, fine. Not a lot of exposure. The people who were after him, um, I mean, Vader. Yeah, no, because and that just brings up the whole. When last we meet, I was but a learner. Now I am the master. Really? Because Obi-Wan season one, you were kicking his butt a couple times.
Well, let's
You
be
know,
honest. The reason
and
why
the whole
the reason why Darth Vader's not going to Tatooine to find them is because there's sand.
Well, that's true, and sand gets everywhere. But I mean, then you have the whole line about Tarkin. Well, surely he's dead by now. Don't underestimate the Force. Well, no, you saw him. You saw him a couple of years ago.
I think
It just,
uh,
it creates more problems.
I agree, but part of me just has it. I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I
And
think
that's the only reason why I would want
and that's
that's the only
exactly
reason
it.
I would want a
Yeah,
season two, because he's
like
just amazing in it. But
he when it first came out, like in the Phantom Menace, when he was first there, I was just kind of like, really, because they're showing like pictures of him and then A New Hope side by side, and it's just like, eh, one's Scottish, one's Irish, and then it was just like, okay, let's see how this plays out. And then because at the time he was younger and he grew into the role so well, and
yeah.
to the point where even the things from the Clone Wars just were modeled after him. Like if you
Hmm.
look at like my wife says that whenever we watch something that Anakin is in, that Anakin just looks like such a sissy in the movies, but he's portrayed as such a badass in the Clone Wars.
That's because he was a sissy in the movies. He was a whiny little brat.
Exactly, and that's
Even in the third movie, he was a whiny little brat.
yeah, and that's and so But what I'm saying is, like, they made it almost like it was two separate characters,
Yeah.
where the Obi-Wan you got in the movies and the Obi-Wan that you got in the Clone Wars, they they helped build on top of each other and build that legacy and really fill in those gaps that can't be done for Anakin just because of how different the two characters were.
Yes.
And and I love that they were able to do it because it helps build Obi-Wan's backstory. It helps build the character Obi-Wan, and
Hmm.
the fact that they modeled it after Ewan McGregor was just so great.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah. They really did. The two versions really meshed together.
and
Really did.
especially when you go between two different things. Like, one of the scariest moments in Star Wars to me is, when you see Kanan Jarrus in or Caleb Doom in the Bad Batch, because you're used to seeing him in Rebels, and
Hmm.
now you see this 10-year-old boy, but you hear Freddie Prince's adult 40-year-old, 40s, 50s-year-old voice, and it's just like, that is a boy talking like a man. And that should, he
Yeah.
is possessed. That should not. I love the fact that they got him to do it, because he has said since then that he will not return to Star Wars.
Yeah.
But that was just so scary. It's like, you're expecting like this prepubescent, whiny, like, high pitched voice, and you just get modern day Freddie Prince Jr.
Right.
They couldn't auto tune that or something.
Seriously. Yeah. No. 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 Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's true. Um. Yeah. Yeah.
But so I'm excited about the Acolyte.
Um. Yeah. I keep wondering because I've read a couple of times. I've just been forgetting what it's going to be about.
It's essentially going to be about Sith, a bunch of at the end of the High Republic. So the only character we should know about that exists is Yoda, who
Okay.
probably won't be in it, and you're going to learn a lot more about the Sith.
Okay. Okay. That one was about the Sith. All right. Yeah.
So
No. I that okay. I'd be interested in that. Um. I mean, they've already broken the rule of two
yeah,
in modern day. They trashed that. But no, it'll be good to see a Sith story.
uh, I'm super excited. Like, this is a topic that we can go on for hours and hours about. There's so much. I'm just scrolling through the list. We're not going to get to it all in this conversation, but
Yeah.
there's still the expected Lando spinoff. There's a hand.
Yes.
There's a handful of other movies coming out there. Let's not forget about Solo Episode 2. Um, you know, make it
But
happen.
are they going to do so? Or are they going to do a second
No,
solo?
they're not. I strongly doubt it, but
Yeah.
I still think hashtag make so let Solo 2 happen needs
Yeah.
to happen. Like, it was a good movie.
It does.
It came out at the wrong time.
Yeah. I mean, well, we've talked about it before. We talked about
Exactly.
it before. The biggest thing with the solo movie was that it suffered from the Last Jedi.
It's Star Wars overdose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I
but
mean,
but
yeah.
this has been great to talk about. No, I've missed this so much.
Oh my God, me too.
I'm glad we're doing this again, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to future episodes. And once again, I'm Steve,
I'm Adam.
and thank you for watching the Errant Venture.
May the force be with you.